Continue to roll. Recently, my garage door opener was not working. I was in need of a closer. I was put in touch with RNS Doors, and they hooked me up with a brand new garage door opener from LiftMaster. With LiftMaster's MyQ connectivity, my garage door opener can be controlled right from my smartphone. You'll know when a door or gate has been left open and can close it with a tap, no matter where I am. Be one of the first 10 callers and receive 20% off a LiftMaster garage door opener when you purchase a premium garage door. Call 1-800-FIX-A-DOOR. That's 800-FIX-A-DOOR. Or visit rndoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
KCBS News Time 9:58. We are headed back to your local Honda dealer's traffic center. It's been a busy drive this morning, but it's calmed down, and Kim's got the details. Now, just a few brake lights approaching Albany Hill, westbound 80. It begins to loosen. Gilman, another slow patch right in Emeryville, but otherwise you're looking good to the Bay Bridge now. Barely any weight left at the toll plaza. I will say the west end of the bridge, though, is getting crowded approaching Fremont Street and coming aboard that westbound 80 Skyway. That in the wake of an earlier stall that's been removed, though. We do have about a mile's worth of to or out of Half Moon Bay. This is utility work that has cropped up on Highway 92. This is near Diggs Canyon, near the nursery there. So we have about a mile's worth of slow traffic, actually stop and go traffic on either side. And then there's an overturn in Milpitas. It's off to the side, but a little bit of slowing northbound 880 at Great Mall. Dave Fouts is up next at 10:08 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Lots of sunshine today once the clouds go away. Highs from the 60s coast side to the 70s and 80s around the bay to the upper 90s inland. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on KCBS.
It is Friday, August 19th, 2022, coming up on KCBS.
This is Matt Bigler in Oakland. Governor Newsom is threatening to cut off state funding unless the city moves faster to clean up the region's largest homeless encampment.
San Francisco officials consider an underused parking lot for RV parking for the homeless.
And the UN Secretary General is calling for demilitarization around a nuclear power plant in Ukraine. I'm Melissa Colrock.
I'm Eric Thomas.
CBS News is next.
When you need to know, KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Odyssey Station.
10 o'clock.
CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com. I'm Steve Kathan. Justice today for the families of 4 Americans who were at the hands of ISIS terrorists. Some were beheaded. CBS's Errol Barnett.
A federal court handed down 8 life sentences to convicted ISIS member Al-Shafi al-Sheikh. Al-Sheikh was found guilty of participating in the kidnapping and killing of 4 Americans. He was part of an ISIS cell known as the Beatles due to their British accents. One of the victims was journalist James Foley. He was killed today.
In Ukraine, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for a demilitarization near a nuclear plant that is Europe's largest. It's in an area controlled by Russian forces.
Obviously, the electricity from Zaporizhzhia is Ukrainian electricity, and it's necessary, especially during the winter, for the Ukrainian people, and this principle must be fully respected.
Here at home, a judge in Michigan has ruled prosecutors cannot enforce a 1931 state abortion ban. An earlier ruling indicated they could charge providers with felonies. A federal judge has ordered the Justice Department to put out redactions of the affidavit supporting the search warrant for former President Trump's estate in Florida. CBS's Catherine Herridge.
The judge agreed with media organizations, including CBS News, that at least some of the affidavits that support the Mar-a-Lago search could be unsealed. It is up to the public to determine what is meaningful in this investigation. Prosecutors argued releasing any portion of the affidavit would threaten their investigation and the safety of potential witnesses and the FBI agents involved.
A new report blames nearly 70% of the 107,000 drug deaths in the U.S. over the past year on the synthetic opioid fentanyl.
DEA Administrator Ann Milgram on CBS Mornings.
What we see happening at DEA is essentially that there are two cartels in Mexico, the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco New Generation cartel, that are killing Americans with fentanyl.
Experts are weighing the fallout from Cleveland Browns star Deshaun Watson's 11-game suspension. CBS Sports NFL analyst Chris Spielman says his new huge contract has most of the money after year one.
As you look at the first year of the contract, it was almost minimum wage. So were they anticipating that he was going to get some kind of suspension? And when you look at the total fine thing, it was $5 million. So if they didn't levy that fine of $5 million, he would have been fined for only the games that he missed, which was roughly around $600,000.
Wall Street, the Dow is down 197 points. This is CBS News.
Hire with minimal effort and max speed with Indeed. Their hiring solution platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates efficiently. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Taking Oakland to task for not moving fast enough to clean up the city's most notorious homeless encampment. KCBS's Matt Bigler is near the Wood Street encampment in West Oakland to explain.
In a 4-page letter, Governor Newsom's office excoriates the city of Oakland for its handling of the Wood Street encampment, which has become a dumping ground for stolen vehicles. It's also been the source of multiple fires, including one 2 months ago that stopped traffic on 880. The smoke was so bad. Daniel Burns, who lives nearby, says the unhoused have basically taken over this area.
They blocked Wood Street, so you can't have access anymore, and then 91 fires, and pretty bad.
Newsom is threatening to withhold $4.7 million in state funding given to the city to house the 200 people who live here, including Messiah Ali, who's called this place home for 10 years.
There's nowhere to go. Most of the people here was ran out from different cities and different parts of Oakland. They told us to come here.
Next week, a federal judge is expected to decide if Caltrans can move forward with plans to clear out the encampment. Along Wood Street in Oakland, Matt Bigler, KCBS.
The Oakland City Attorney issued this statement this morning. Quote, the city has received a letter from the governor's office and is reviewing it. Oakland values its long-standing relationship with the state of California in partnering on issues related to housing and homelessness and shares the state's immediate and long-term goal of sheltering and housing unsheltered Oaklanders. Meanwhile, the city has also been deeply engaged with Caltrans for an extended period about these same shelter-related issues. We are eager to work with our local, regional, and state partners to resolve concerns and secure solutions for unsheltered Oaklanders. Meanwhile, San Francisco city officials are in talks with San Francisco State about whether it makes sense to open up a university parking lot for RV parking for the homeless. For months now, dozens of RVs have been lined up along Winston Drive and Lake Merced Boulevard. The families that live in them have been asking the city to find them a safer space to park alongside busy roads where there's no power or water or sewage hookups. So far, the city says it can't find an appropriate spot. Supervisor Gordon Marr, whose district borders the site, says one space they're looking at is a parking lot for students called Lot 25 on Winston Drive. It would need some added from the Cal State Board of Trustees. A spokeswoman for the city's homelessness department says the city is looking at the property, but so far no site has been selected. This could be the third such site by San Francisco. In January, it set up RV parking in the Bayview with room for 130 vehicles. Another site near Balboa Bart opened in 2019, but it closed last year. The one near Lake Merced could face opposition from nearby homeowners. Well, time is running out for the governor to sign a bill that would create the first official safe injection site in the country. That bill could be signed as soon as today. Now, it's a controversial bill that would set up safe places to do drugs in Oakland, San Francisco, and L.A. Critics say you're just encouraging people to shoot up, but site supporters like San Francisco State Senator Scott Wiener, who authored the bill, say it acknowledges that people are doing drugs, and this is a way to have them do it safely and maybe even reach those who might want to stop.
New York City implemented this almost a year ago, and Mayor Adams in New York is advocating to keep these sites open 24 hours a day because they've been so effective. They have banned over